So guys, I want to take some time today to share with you how to make the most out of your Myzone. I've actually got a slide deck here for you, which is going to be super helpful. Let's get this up here. And what I wanted to do, I wanted to make sure that you understood exactly how to get the most from one of the things we brought into Fast-Paced Fitness in the last year or two. I've said on many occasions that it's one of the best things I've actually done in my training over, ever really. I think, I'm really even happy to say this. Myzone is an incredible piece of kit. It's actually, I've got one here. This is a Myzone belt. And the reason we brought it into Fast-Paced Fitness is a couple of the reasons. I'm going to go through them in this workshop. The main reason I want to share with you is because what it does better than anything else that I've found is it tracks effort. And this is really, really important. I'm going to talk about the advantages of tracking effort over purely like reps and sets and time. Now, upon starting to use this, we invested quite heavily in the technology. We also invested in some training, and the guy that made Myzone, a guy called Dave, I forgot his second name, but anyway, he runs a club down in the south of England, and it's one of those things that is such an influential thing for people trying to better themselves. Now, when we go to the gym, a culture is often that it's whoever gets the most reps, whoever's the fittest or the fastest is the best. And what the fitness industry is very good at doing is keeping fit people fitter. Now, Myzone, I believe, is a really, really great tool to help encourage people and level the playing field when it comes to effort and how much you're actually getting done. Now, what I've realized over the years of training people is that people work really, really hard. And sometimes we can have two people working as hard as one another, but one of the output measures is reps. Now, say I'm doing push-ups next to somebody who has just started on their fitness journey, they're a year in, and they're trying to compete with me. One of the things that can be a bit of a struggle for them is that I will be able to do more reps. I've been doing fitness since I was 11 years old. It's going to be pretty darn easy for me to rep out a couple of push-ups. They might have just started and they could be trying really hard, yet feeling that they're not getting anywhere. And what Myzone does, it gives you a score at the end of your workout, which is called a MEP score, an effort score. Now, what we've noticed at Fast-Paced Fitness is this really does level the playing field, because two people who are different levels of fitness can work out together and they get a score that can be, actually quite competitive. Equally, there's so many other reasons for using Myzone. And what I want to do is take you through these 10 slides to help you understand why to use it, what to do when you're using it. And I'm even going to try and do a little on-screen demo of some of the features of the app so that you can make the most out of your Myzone belt and whilst you're using it as well. So without further ado, let's go. What is Myzone? So Myzone is a heart rate tracking system. This is what it does. It's one of the best heart rate tracking straps I've ever used as well. It's really, really good. I remember 10 years ago when I was in university trying to use heart rate tracking, and it was a nightmare. It was very intermittent. It was like the belts were solid, and it was not a great experience. They didn't really stretch like this 10 years ago. But ultimately, Myzone tracks your heart rate. Now, what it does really well is it uploads to this little module in the middle of the belt, and then it goes to your app on your phone. So if you've got a smartphone, you can use this as well. So part of the prerequisites of Myzone is you probably need a smartphone or a tablet of some description. Now, when we exercise, our heart rate increases, and what we go through are different training zones, and we'll talk more about zones in a second. But what Myzone does really well is it gives you points for being in each of these zones. Now, what that then reflects is how hard you're working throughout the workout. So if I'm working out for an hour, and I just want to go for a really slow jog, really steady jog, where I'm working at 60% of my max heart rate, I'm going to get 2 points a minute. And what that does is at the end of the workout, say I've done so I've done an hour, 60 minutes at zone, the zone 2, which is the blue zone on Myzone, I get 120 MEPs. Now, for example, that could really, really work for me. I want to get 120 MEPs a day, so I'm just going to do a gentle jog. Equally, I might be super busy and I want to get things done a little bit faster. I want to work out with a little bit more of intensity. And I choose, you know what, I'm going to cycle for 30 minutes, but I'm going to push it to around about 80% of my max heart rate. And I get 4 points a minute instead of 2. So that means 2 people, one person choosing the intense workout and the other person choosing the slow, gentle workout can get the same amount of MEPs, but one takes half the time of the other. There's different training effects of those 2 types of training. But at the end of the day, the score is going to be the same. So whether you choose to do lots of cardio or intense workouts, it means there's a level playing field. And there's so many advantages to doing that as well. So this is what essentially Myzone is. It's a gamification system. And what gamification really means is that you're playing the game of fitness. And because it's got a system which levels the playing field, it means that everyone can compete. Now, we've had Myzone at Fast Way to Fitness for around about a year now, maybe a year and a half. And it's actually not the fittest people that are at the top of the Myzone challenges. It's the people who try the hardest and do the most. Now, this is really interesting because I've never been at the top of my Myzone challenge board at my gym. I do a lot of fitness, I work really hard, but there's people out there that just really do. They out-train me, they outwork me, even though they might not be as fit as me on paper, like me be able to do as many push-ups as me, or they might be able to not be able to run as fast as me, over 5K or something like that. But what they do is they work harder, longer, consistently, and more so than me. And it really does help with motivation. Gamification also means is that there's that reward every time you've done a workout. You can look at your Myzone score and you're like, oh my God, I really, really am proud of myself. I've got 120 MEPs in that workout. So it means that every time that people leave the workout, they feel good about what they've just done. Equally, Myzone's an accountability tool. It allows me, the trainer, to check in on how my clients are doing. If you're watching this video and you're like, yeah, oh my gosh, I get to have a better conversation with my coach. Now, what this really does mean, it brings together everything that someone in the gym will do, combined with something that they'll do outside of the gym. So, for example, I have, at Fast Way to Fitness, we have clients who will do strength training sessions, they'll do HIIT training sessions, they'll do cardio, and outside of their training in the gym, they will do their hobby, their sport, they'll do their social stuff like walks, hill walks. And what Myzone does, it brings together all of that data and gives them a score so they can see the volume of activity they are doing every single month. And what that does, it means that we can have a really good conversation with our members around how they are training, what they are doing, how much time they're spending in each of those zones. Because each of the zones we go through, from walking to jogging to running to sprinting, in any form of exercise, elicits a different kind of effect on the body. There's like different substrates that you use in terms of nutrition. So you have the body uses different energy systems going through those zones, but equally they have a different effect on how you feel. Like long cardio is good for people that are super stressed, and HIIT training is good for people that like to have a good blast. So what we want to do is we want to learn about you and your body, the zones that you work best in, and what is going to be the most appropriate for you and your training. We've got clients at Fast who seem to lose lots and lots of body fat. They feel great when they do loads of low intensity training, lots and lots and lots of it. Equally, we have people who just love that high intensity stuff. And there's people that love a mix. Myzone also proves is used as a safety system. Now, we have a Get Moving program at Fast Way to Fitness, and we use and that's for over 50s who are just looking to get back into fitness. We give them a Myzone belt when they start just to make sure they don't overdo it. Imagine a car that's been left in the garage for years and years and years. And all of a sudden you take it out and you drive it around with your foot on the gas. Inevitably, there could be something that goes wrong. Now, that is a really, really good thing to know, that you can train safe when you first step back into exercise. So when you are starting exercise, Myzone is a great tool for you to be using. Equally, it allows us to see if somebody is super stressed. Now, we've had clients who've walked into Fast Way to Fitness, they've even sat on a bike and they've not even started pedaling, and their heart rate is around about 75 to 80, even 90% of the maximum. And this allows us to say, listen, it looks to me like you're really just not in the state to train today. You might have had too many coffees. There could be some underlying health concerns. I want you to go and see your GP to make sure everything's okay. And on a number of occasions, that has been the case. So Myzone is a really great little safety system we use to make sure you're training safe. And finally, what it also allows us to do is to set you goals and targets to mean that your training is progressive. Now, training should always be progressive, because then it helps you move from like one goal to the next and helps you keep moving forward. When you're moving forward, you get better results, you feel better, and then that means that you are going to be getting leaner, getting stronger, getting fitter, everything that you're investing in with time, energy, money when you're training. So we want to make sure that training is progressive, and Myzone does help with that. There's various ways that we can do this, but one of the biggest ways is that Myzone actually calibrates with your body on your maximum heart rate, which I'll explain later on in the presentation. Why should you bother even using Myzone? Because it is an investment. At Fast Way to Fitness, we sell the belts for £80. £80 does actually secure you a belt for life. It's one of those things, once you bought it, you don't even have to buy it again. You get access to the club's challenges and all that sort of stuff. RRP, so if you buy them from Myzone themselves, they're £130, but they're just a fantastic way, an investment. And why should you even bother investing in it? This one I want to share with you now. Well, first of all, as a heart rate monitoring system, it's a very, very accurate effort grading, heart rate tracking system. There's various heart rate belts on the market, and you can pay anywhere between 40 and 180, £200, even up to £500 for some of the watches that you get. This is the most accurate thing that I could possibly find to do that. Equally, with Myzone, you have I think it's like 70 odd built-in workouts, which I will show you in the demonstration on my phone later on in this presentation. Because when you're on the road, and say you're someone who goes from place to place, gym to gym, you might be on the road all the time, you've got no fixed, place that you train week to week. It's nice to have something where you can just jump on a bike, a spin bike, a treadmill, a rower, and give you some kind of guidance about how to train. Now, the zone match feature allows you to do that. And I think that's fantastic. I think that's really, really good, because it doesn't really matter what piece of equipment you're on as long as you're following the zones. And that's really, really cool. Equally, Myzone does have an accountability level. And it means that you can take the time every single month to make sure that you're doing the required amount of fitness to help you stay healthy. Now, the WHO, the World Health Organization, quotes that you should do, I think it's around about 8 hours of exercise per month. And that 8 hours of exercise equates to around about 1,300 MEPs. Now, what Myzone have cleverly done is that when you do 1,300 MEPs per month, you get a badge. And I'll talk about the badge system in a second. But what this badge system, it definitely, I've been training for a long time, and it definitely allowed me to do this, is stay accountable to yourself, but equally make sure you stay accountable to your gym, your trainer, your coach, and the friends and connections that you've got on Myzone as well. Now, this is really important because people are far, far more likely to do fitness if they feel connected, they feel involved, they feel part of something bigger. Now, I've been using Myzone for about a year and a half. I'm on gold. I'm nearly about to move to a platinum status. And when it gets to the end of the month, and I haven't been doing as much exercise in the first 2 or 3 weeks, it really does kick me into gear to me and make sure that I go out and I make sure I get my 1,300 reps per month. It stops me from making excuses. It means that I find ways to be active, and it means that I secure my next month of status. And it's, it's really, really, it sounds so inconsequential, but it does really, really actually kick me into gear. Myzone also, in my opinion, is one of the best ways for people to start learning about heart rate based training. When I was 18, maybe 13 to 18, I was a track runner, and I didn't really understand heart rate training at that point in my training life. And since learning about heart rate training, I've learned so much about my own heart rate, what zones I should be training in, why certain zones will work better for certain types of goals that I have. And Myzone is a really, really user-friendly way to start doing that. And this is something I feel that it does really, really well, because the system is based on 5 key zones and they're really easy to understand. People get it, and they're all color-coded, and it's easy, and it's not super complicated. And the science that underpins it, which is complicated and it isn't easy to understand, is made very, very simple. And even when you're doing things like a zone match workout, it does help you get into and very much more intuitive with listening to your heart and feeling how you go through a workout. And it's really, really cool. It's really, really interesting when you do that. And again, I'll show you later in the demonstration how that works. It gives you data to discuss with a coach, data, not drama. If I go onto a Myzone screen when somebody comes in to talk to me about how much they've been training, I can see they're doing 5 workouts a week and they're not losing body fat. I know it's not a training issue. It's more likely to be a nutrition issue. 80% of the time it's always a nutrition issue anyway. But what it does, it allows me to what I say, use data, not drama. If I can see that one of my members or someone I'm looking after or taking care of, or I'm looking over their exercise, if they're putting their belt on every day at 9 o'clock, they're getting 100 reps, they're doing various different intensities, the reason their body isn't changing is likely to be the fact that eating is not supporting what they're doing in their training. Equally, it gives you training specificity. What that actually means is that, say you want to increase your maximal output, say you want to really get better at sprinting, I can help you do that. If you want to become better at doing longer, more endurance type training stuff, we can help you do that. And it allows us to make your training more specific. And this is really important because training, equally, it should be progressive, but it also should be specific. Now, if your goal is to run a triathlon or to do a half marathon or to do a marathon, you want to be able to sustain a level of performance, and you want to be able to, stick at a certain pace. Equally, if you want to be able to be stronger, lift more, and do more in the gym, say, for example, you're more of a CrossFit style person, we want to make sure you can hit the high notes, you can push yourself and stay at the high intensities for longer. And there's ways that you can support that. And the final reason to use Myzone is it helps you manage your training volume and your training load. And what that means is it allows you to look at how much you're actually doing, how much you actually putting in, how much effort you actually giving. And this is a really, really great thing, is that when you first start out, it's a really, really good way to, when we've given it to people who thought they did a lot, they've realized that they may walk a lot, but they're not in any zone that actually has any effect on their physical and mental, physical well-being. They might just spend so much time in like 40 to 50% of max heart rate, which really doesn't have a huge impact on their the adaptations that you get from exercise. So it helps us allow them to train that little bit harder, push their boundaries a little bit more, and get them a bit fitter. And that's really important. So this is how Myzone works. A MEP is a Myzone exercise point. And it's a really, really, really great way to measure fitness. It's a great way to measure effort and how hard you're working in a workout. Now, the way that Myzone works, is that you constantly got a belt on whilst you're training. And whilst you're training, your heart rate will go up and down depending on the workout that you're doing. If your heart rate is between 50 to 59% of its maximum, what this means is that you get 1 point for every minute of exercise. And then what happens is this incrementally goes up to 80%. So for every minute that you're doing 60 to 69% of work, so say like this is like a really, really, really slow jog. It could be a really slow cycle. Sometimes strength training falls into this one as well. You pretty much stay in the 69% zone. 79%, you get 3 reps a minute, and then 4 reps a minute for 80 and 90. So anywhere between 80 and 100%, you get 4 reps per minute. And this is like your HIIT training, your high intensity training, your running, your like long distance cycling at a high intensity. But generally these levels can't be sustained for that long. So it depends on the individual, how hard you work, how long you've learned to work hard for. You may struggle to sustain these levels, right? So what this does is it allows you to start learning about these different levels that we work in, how hard we work, and how you're rewarded as well. So what this is can do for you is at the end of the workout, you get a score. So say I wanted to get 100 reps, like I said before, I could do 30 minutes in the yellow zone or in the red zone. And this really does kind of give me some something to aim for. Okay, so a MEP is a Myzone exercise point. We get 1 per minute, 2 per minute, 3 per minute, or 4 per minute, depending on the stage or the percentage of our maximum heart rate. Go to the next one. Each month, if we acquire or accrue 1,300 MEPs, we go up in statuses. So we start off on iron. So after 1 month of 1,300 MEPs, you get iron. Then you move to bronze after 3 months. You move to silver after 6 months. You move to gold after doing 12 months of 1,300 MEPs a month. And what this means is that you've done 8 sessions, or around about 6 to 8 hours of exercise per month, every month for 12 months. That's 2 sessions a week. That's all it is. And it's really, really helpful for keeping that consistency and building that exercise habit. Once you've done 12 months at gold, you've got to do another year to get the next level up, which is platinum. You have diamond and the Hall of Fame, which is 48 months, which I believe is 4 years. It's 4 years. 4 years of never skipping a whole month worth of workouts. And you go to the Hall of Fame. That's pretty cool. It's a status. And then what we were trying to do is we try and sustain that every single month. So, for example, if you've got a gold status and you miss just 1 month of getting your MEPs in, you drop down to silver. And this is important to know, because what can happen is that, for whatever reason, you might find that you've got a busy end of the month. So you've got to plan and do most of your fitness at the start of the month. Maybe you've had a month where you've had a terrible start. You've done no training whatsoever in the first couple of weeks. It gives you an opportunity to do that little bit extra in the second half of the month, which means you've kind of got this quota to meet, you meet it, and you get rewarded. And I actually find these badges quite addictive, right? And a challenge is, I'm going to show you this in the app in a second. A challenge is where we can allocate the certain zone. So like you can do this, or your gym can do this, is that you decide, right, okay, I'm going to see how much red I can get in June. So you go into your app, which I'll show you in a second. You click on challenge, you create a challenge, and you say, I want to see how many, if I can get 500 MEPs in red in June, and you can challenge yourself. Equally, a gym can create a challenge, and there's different permutations of challenges we can do, which is where we do every man for themselves challenge. We can do team challenges. We can do inter-gym challenges. We can do all sorts of variations of challenges where we take out zones. Like we do like the mean green challenge, where we just you only get points for any exercise done in the 70 to 79% zone. And it just makes exercising as part of your gym or part of your group or part of your team just that little bit more interesting and gives you a new thing to focus on. Again, sometimes fitness is, if you've been doing it for 15 to 12 years, it's nice to have a different dimension and thing to focus on. It keeps it interesting. So I'm going to give you an app guided tour. So I'm just going to pop my phone on here. Here we go. I'm going to give you actually a tour of the app and what it looks like here. I'm going to pop this up. Okay, so there we go. Just going to pop it up on here. Myzone. So Myzone app. So here you can see. I was going to check out Chris's. I was actually checking out one of my clients before, asking how he was getting on, and he said he was doing loads, so I had to go and check him out. Let's go back on here. Okay, this is the main screen of the app. So what you can see here is you've got your body metrics, you've got challenges, you've got connections, workouts, home, and Myzone chat. We're going to give you a walk through each bit of this. So, feel free to take your time. We're going to go through this, make sure you understand each bit on the screen. First one I'm going to show you is my body metrics. So it's in the top left here. So if I tap on that, you can see what actually happens is I've got all of my body metrics on here. So we've got an InBody at Fast Way to Fitness. It actually populates a lot of this stuff. My weight is 78. My resting heart rate is 50. I've obviously worn the belt during the day, and it's counted my heart rate as the lowest point it's seen as 50. My maximum heart rate is 200. Okay, and then what it also gives me is something called a BMR, which is a basal metabolic rate, which means this is how many calories I burn at rest every single day. There's this thing called Myzone Fitness. I'm going to show you this in a second. Myzone Fitness test is a really, really accurate way to see how fast you recover from intense exercise. And then finally, my body fat. And this, you can get your body fat on here by either inputting it yourself, or when we do an InBody scan. Oh, this is a good touch on the app, not on the screen. It'll actually populate this as well. So I'm just going to rock down to the bottom, and you can see last time I did. Where is it gone now? Body fat. So every time I do a body fat measure, it shows it on the app. So my last one here was 18.8, and I did that on the 25th of February. So it's a really, really great way to store all of your exercise and fitness data. Top right here, we've got the challenges. So if you tap on here, what every single member we have is various challenges at Fast Way to Fitness. If you're at our gym, we have online challenges for some of our different members. We've got online members, we've got members in the gym. So if I tapped on March Enemies or Mates, now this is our gym challenge this month, where every single member has been given a partner. And this is me and Jonah. This is me and Jonah, one of the guys that's at our gym. And together we've got a total of 6,783 MEPs, which is an average of 3,332 MEPs, which puts us 14th in the standing in our gym. Now, Jonah, Paul Jones, he's a mega fit guy. He's a super fit guy. He's like super, super mega mountain runner, goes across all the mountains every single day. He's really, really super fast. And he does a lot of cycling as well. But equally, it means that, and I did quite a lot as well, but we're only 14th. What's interesting, I'm going to show you this. This is my mum, right? My mum is third. My mum's 63 or something. Jill Breeze is over 60 as well. These are two ladies. They do lots of dog walking. They're out all the time. They push themselves. And they're higher up in the challenge than I am. So you've got two super fit guys. We're getting our butts kicked by my mum. And this is what is beautiful about Myzone. It really does allow, these are my friends here. So I've got my friend Jamie, my friend Lee and Joe, and we've got our own little personal challenge going on there. What we can do here, if you look in the top right, there's a plus button. Okay, and it allows you to create your own challenges where you set yourself an individual target, a team goal, or a personal goal. So say I wanted to set a team challenge. I click on team, I create a name, and message the people that want to be in it. So it's like saying, this is this is a blue challenge, here's a blue challenge, challenge. And then what I can do is I can take out the zones, if you can see the ticks on the little bubbles here, the zones that I want to be in or not be in, okay? So there's always an option for those 5 zones. The grey, the dark grey, the blue, the green, the yellow and the red. So I'm going to take off the red, okay, and then I'm going to invite, start date is going to be today, and I'm going to do a 1-day challenge. Don't know why you do that, but you know, and I'm going to send that to, oh, what am I going to challenge name? Blue. So little like, okay, so at least one person, add a team member, and I'm going to invite Alex Johnson. Okay, so Alex is going to get a little request now. And we're going to add myself as well. And Myzone, there we go, there's me. Add myself in. There we go, and that's done. So as you can see, I've got that challenge. Where's that challenge now? There we go, blue. I can check in on who's winning. Team 1, Team 2. Team 1 is Ben, Team 2 is Alex. And that allows me to challenge myself, challenge friends, it challenges from the gym. It keeps me engaged with my fitness. This is like, you know, my friends and me, we talk a lot about who's winning the current March on the Meps challenge. Connections, this is where you can find out friends in your local gym. So if you tap on connections, I can find every single person at Fast Way to Fitness. These are my current connections, okay? And it ranks them in order of how many MEPs they've got. Equally, I can search for people in other gyms. I can search for people online in Myzone who I know has a Myzone belt. So say you go to a race or an event, or you meet someone in another gym, you say, hey, I've got a Myzone belt. Oh yeah, I do Myzone as well. Oh, what's your name? You know, John Smith. John Smith? Oh, right, John Smith. Are you on Myzone? Oh, look, I can see you're on here, Jonathan Smith. I don't know Jonathan Smith, so I'm not going to add him. All right, so that really does help you build a fitness network connection. Now, this is what I feel, right? This is better than Facebook because the only connection or the only thing we have in common is fitness. I don't need to know your political views. I don't need to know what you're sharing about your work or your stress. And like, all I get to see is your workout, and I don't need to know anything else. This is why I love Myzone. I think it's a better facility and better platform than so many other networking sites because you don't have to learn about anything else other than someone's fitness. And that's it. Okay, this next one, I'm going to actually put my belt on for this one. So this is what I'm going to do. This is how I put on my belt. So first of all, pop my belt on. Okay, pop it around my chest. I've got a hairy chest, so it's going to, not too hairy, but we'll talk about it in a second. I'll make sure my module is in the middle. If I'm doing things like push-ups and like that, you can see here, okay, I can pop it out to the side. But what I always do when I put my belt on is I lick the back. So I lick the back on both sides, and then you'll hear the belt beep any second now. There you go. One beep means it comes on, and you'll see my belt actually go onto the screen now. So you can see this is my heart rate. So I've got my bottom left, which is my actual heart rate. My heart rate now is 75. A cup of coffee this morning. This means I'm working at 35% of my maximum heart rate. So I'm getting no score from Myzone for this. My belt status is like how much charge my belt has. It's 80%. Top right is my calories, and this is who I am. And this is actually my status as well, how many MEPs I've got. You can tap on the actual screen and you can choose what it shows as the main display. So that's the calories. So that's top left, the percentage. This is the heart rate, the raw heart rate. Tap it again, and you can see that you've got the MEPs. So I've got no MEPs. Beneath this, what we have is the ZM button. And this, I think Myzone would be much, much better if they moved this and put it somewhere you could really see. Now, the ZM button means zone match. And in this zone match, if I tap on it, it doesn't even look like a button. You can see all of the various workouts that you can do whilst you got on your Myzone belt. So if I went to a gym and say I went on a cruise and I wanted to go to the gym and all they had was cardio equipment, doesn't matter. I can choose a rower, I can choose a bike, I can choose a stepper, I can choose an elliptical trainer. I jump on there, I get going, I choose that. If you look down at the bottom here, it says, it's right at the bottom, it says 11 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. If I scroll across, these workouts go all the way up to 60 minutes. So I want to do an hour. So I click on 60 minutes, and now all these workouts that showing me are all 1 hour long. Equally, I can make them 45 minutes. See, I've just tapped on here, so that's changed down here. 30 minutes, so I've got 30-minute workouts in there as well. So I want to show you, I want to click on, I've had a hard day. I want to do a little bit of fitness, but I want to take it nice and easy. I'm going to do the mini recuperator. So I tap on load. It loads it here. And then I've got a built-in exercise prescription. Now, this is how this works. Okay, I'm going to show you this in percentage. You've got this thing called a zone match score. Now, this is how closely you match your tile, which goes blue, green, yellow, red, blue, green, yellow, red, with this tile here, the prescribed tile. So when I click play, I've got to try and make my heart rate start at 50% of max for 2 minutes. And then this tile here will go blue. So I've got to go move to 60%. How closely I can match that with my heart rate gives me a zone match score. Now, this is super, super difficult. Now, the best score I think I've ever had is something like 95%. I'm not great at this. I know people that are really great. We have a class called Pulse at Fast Way to Fitness, and Pulse is scored on the zone match score. So it's whoever matches the zone the closest across the 30 minutes actually wins. He's the winner. You get a winner on that one. And this is really helpful, right? It means that you've got that opportunity to do something different with your heart rate. So yeah, that's the zone match. You've also got, I'm going to show you this one here, this little interval timer here on the left. So you can choose a clock, a stopwatch, a countdown, or interval. So it's a really good little timer on there as well. And I do use that for some workouts. I don't use that often though. Bottom here, you got home. So this is like your news feed on Facebook, but it's only people's fitness. So I can see Sarah Del Pret here. She's one of our members at the gym. She's done a workout. I'm going to like that. Larry Hamlet, she's just done a workout. Okay, Richard Blake. Andy Sloan, he's a member. He's one of my friends from another gym. Beth Young. So what I do is I just check out how many people are training. Like, I see Katie and she was waiting to do some fitness. We got jumped on the phone. I said, right, come on, let's get cracking. She's obviously done it today. Well done, Katie. And it really does help me as a gym owner. It helps me as an exerciser, connect with my friends, comment on how they're exercising. And sometimes you can see, like, Danley obviously done a massive workout there. You can see there, my friend Royce. This is a really great little news feed because I don't have to worry about political. This is Dave. Right, Dave Wright. He's the owner of Myzone. This guy here, okay, the owner of Myzone. You can see a man who practices what he preaches. He's got a Hall of Fame. He's done 4 years. He's done 4 years of exercising without a break. How amazing is that? That is practicing what you preach, ladies and gentlemen. So let's move it on. What you've often found is that people that we found at Fast as well is that people that like, comment and share or like and comment on other people's workouts, people comment on your workouts, and it just gives you that level of connection around your workouts that is super, super great. You can see at the top here, by the way, it says tap to upload workout data. Now, sometimes if you tap that after a workout, it pushes your data from your belt to your phone. Now, it should just naturally do that, but sometimes it needs a little reminder and it syncs it. So it's definitely worth remembering that this little green icon here is there. And the final one, or the final two, is you've got Myzone chats that I can actually chat with all of my friends' connections on Myzone, which means that I can just build that exercise community just through Myzone. I don't have to talk about anything else. I keep the conversation purely to Myzone or exercise and fitness. We're going to use this as our main channel of communication other than email at Fast Way to Fitness. So if you're watching this here fast, we're going to start using Myzone chat a little bit more, because when we go into Myzone, it means that we're having conversations about exercise, and there's less noise on there as well. And then you've got this inbox. Now, what an inbox shows you is, like, here we can see is when other people are getting things like statuses. It gives it 2 seconds. I'm going to turn off my there you go, turn off my notifications. It's when other people get statuses, so you can give them a well done. You know, I can see that, you know, Gillian Plemons just done a workout, or she's like my workout. It's an update, but equally all your challenge invites come to your inbox. And finally, you've got bottom left, you've got stats. So this is your monthly stats. This is at the top here. You can see how many MEPs I've got this month. So I've got my status, I've got my picture, and you can show you here. If you just scroll left, so if you run your finger left, swipe left, yeah, that's right. I can see how many calories I've burnt this month. I can see how many moves I've done, a move is how many times I put on the belt. So I've put the belt on average of twice a day. If I look across the year, it's an average of, so there you go. Average is 27 moves per month. So I average nearly every single day, every in the month, I put my belt on. So that's really good. I'm quite proud of that, actually. 27 moves per month. And there'll be some moves, like in November last year, or November 2018, I obviously use it quite a bit. It's pretty cool. And then finally, you can even check in MZ Motion. MZ Motion is where it pulls all the information from your step tracker, your phone. Your phone is actually a step tracker, by the way. If you've got your phone on you when you do your workouts or when you go walking, it tracks your steps. And what Myzone really cleverly does is it pulls in the moves or the steps that you've done every single month. It's really, really good. Like how many hours of movement you've done. It pulls that all in from your health data, from your iOS or Samsung, whatever you've got. It cleverly does that if you allow it to connect via your APIs, whatever it is that does it. And that's it. So that's the actual demonstration of the what's it called? That's the demonstration of the app. Now I want to finish. Where are we now? I want to finish with troubleshooting. Troubleshooting, do's and don'ts. We're nearly done now. So first of all, what we've got to make sure when we're using Myzone is that the heart rate is correct. What Myzone does is it estimates what your maximum heart rate is using a scientific equation that's been used for measuring thousands of people, and then they come up with a formula that gives an accurate ref, or an accurate heart rate, max heart rate. Sorry, mine's 200 beats per minute. Now, if this formula estimated that my maximum heart rate was 190, what the belt does is that every time that I spend 40 seconds over 190 beats per minute, it pushes my heart rate up. Now, if you think about this, if my maximum heart rate gets pushed up, it means I'm pushing myself harder. The belt knows I can push myself harder. So all of the other zones will move up. So it becomes harder to get points. Now, your belt will do this if you are pushing limits, which is good. And the second thing is it will do this sometimes if there's static in your top, or you have some sort of heart palpitations. My partner Poppy, she gets heart palpitations where her heart rate will go 220 for like 4 or 5 minutes, and then it comes back down. If she's got the belt on, it will recalibrate her heart rate. So we have to always shut that back down. I've actually put a limit on that now. You can speak to any person in the club and they will be able to limit your heart rate so it doesn't do that. And it just allows you to get the right training zones. Remember, it's my zone, so it's your zone. You've got to have that right. Now, sometimes the estimate, the formula could have, so say it's estimated my heart rate to be 190 at max. It could be too high for me. I may be one of these people, I just don't have the high heart rate that everyone else does. It's actually no reflection of your fitness level. It's a little bit, but not entirely. It's like a thumbprint. Everyone's heart rate and max heart rate is individual. Well, say my max heart rate can't get up to 190. I need to ask a club member to reduce that down so it reflects a more accurate view of my maximum heart rate. We have many members of our of Fast Way to Fitness we do that for, and it's not a problem at all. We just lower your heart rate, and actually really does then give you a bit more of gives you a much better experience in Myzone, and means that you don't fail to get into the red zone. So what we do is we can work that out by working with you. It may take a number of sessions to do this, by the way. Second thing we want to make sure in terms of problems is that the belt's battery health is good. You only need to charge these every 4 to 6 months, in my opinion. As you can see, I have mine on once every day, and my battery life has lasted 6 months. It's another 6 months when I charged it again. Charging it frequently, I don't know. This might be an opinion, but I feel that it would have an effect on the battery. So what we recommend is charging it only through a laptop charger. Do not plug it straight into the plug. It even says on the actual connector that you get in the box, do not charge directly from a plug, only use a laptop. So don't you put it straight into the mains because it wrecks the battery life. If the belt keeps going on and off, one of the reasons is the belt isn't tight enough. Now, I'm just going to show you my chest now. I can't even get it's super, super tight. Okay, it really is tight. There's no play in it whatsoever. I bend over, it doesn't fall away from my body. It's super, super tight. We want to keep it like that. The second thing is the conductivity comes from sweat, normally. So when you're cold, and you put it on when you're cold and there's no moisture on your chest, between your chest and the strap, it means that the belt won't switch on. If you lick your fingers and do it, or dunk the belt before you actually put it on, that normally solves it, okay? And the final one is that, one of the reasons that is generally that you've got a faulty module as well. This does actually happen. The policy we have at Fast Way to Fitness, if members buy their belts from us and they're faulty, we send them back. If they buy them off eBay or we don't know where they've got them from, there's nothing that we can do about that. So that's why we do encourage Fast Way to Fitness members to buy them from us and not buy them from eBay or something, because you do see people putting them on eBay for cheaper and stuff like that, where Myzone themselves don't like them doing that, so they actually pull them down and they find they're doing that. The second one is that we can't guarantee it's a brand new belt, how it's being treated. Someone might have swum in the sea in it, all sorts of stuff, and it doesn't do the belt that good. So just make sure that you're buying it from the club as well. Uploading workouts, so you do have to have 3G, 4G, 5G on your phone to upload the workout once you've finished. The belt's on your chest and then you upload, it seems to upload better as well because the actual belt is live. Points showing up in challenges are different to my own points. Now, one of the troubleshooting things we have in Myzone, where people ask us, hey Ben, I've got 2,000 MEPs this month. On the challenge, I've only got 1,000 MEPs. Why is that? The challenge will often not include all of the zones, and it normally won't include the grey zone, because some people can literally put their belt on and have a grey zone sat at the desk. So what we do is we often exclude the grey, and you only get MEPs in the blue, green, yellow, and red zones. Okay, this means that the score that you get personally and on a challenge will be different. So that's often the case. Challenge points upload a little bit slower to the challenge scoreboards as well, so they don't upload straight away. Sometimes it'll take a little bit longer. So yeah, the strap, this needs always to be wet, tight across the sternum. Chest hair can be an issue. I've got some super hairy clients when they have shaved, or when they when they put it somewhere that's less hairy across their chest, they generally get better conductivity. If you are like a Wookiee from Star Wars, there ain't a chance. You're gonna have to find somewhere where it can get skin to strap connection. So it can be an issue, chest hair. So you ladies and gents who've got hairy chests, the strap will tend to smell if you don't wash it properly, if you don't actually disinfect it now and again. Every single belt that is borrowed at Fast Way to Fitness, we disinfect it straight away afterwards. Then you'll never use a belt that's being used by anyone else, but your own personal Myzone strap, I replace mine after a couple of months, because I've even found that if I've put it on and I haven't washed it, that you can get some skin irritation, which is not good whatsoever. So we just want to keep good personal hygiene with these belts, because at the end of the day, you get so much sweat on these things. It's important to keep them clean. And then finally, buying belts off eBay and other sources, like I said before, buy them from the club. The way I see it, guys, as well, is that your fitness club, Fast Way to Fitness, we invest quite heavily in Myzone, the time, the information, knowing about it, understanding about it. I do actually see it as buying your own food and walking into a restaurant if you were to buy it from somewhere else. I think it's just not the right way to go about business. If you see it cheaper online, it's because there's a reason for that. And equally, Fast Way to Fitness, the way that we handle that is if you buy your belt somewhere else, that's absolutely up to you. We can't do anything with it if it goes faulty. And the second thing is you do have to pay a £20 charge to come as part of our facility, because we do lots of stuff where we keep you entertained, we keep you challenged by doing our Myzone workouts and challenges. So it's just a way that we manage that. Do's and don'ts: stay in your own lane, stay in your own zone. You and I could do totally different workouts. We've got totally different bodies. Stay in your own lane. That applies to everything in fitness. Do the fitness test. There is a fitness test on Myzone. When you get it, do the fitness test. It's a really, really interesting thing. Do the fitness test. Use Myzone for a month. Do the fitness test again. When you do it, don't drink caffeine in the morning before, because caffeine does have an effect on that fitness test quite a lot, because caffeine affects how fast your heart rate comes back down, which is how the fitness test is scored. If I have a shed load of caffeine, it means that my heart rate does come down way slower. Do like, share, and connect with other people, but there's no pressure to do that. So if you like people's workouts, people are more likely to like yours. And when you get your workout liked by a couple of people, like, oh my gosh, so-and-so saw my workout, oh, thanks very much. It's just that extra connectivity in the gym. Have a go at the zone matches. I showed you early on in the presentation about zone matches and how to do them, what to do, etc. It's a really, really great way to train, especially when there's not a trainer or a coach there. And it's a great way to really get in tune with your own body. Do learn about your heart rate, because Myzone will no doubt lead you to ask better questions about your body. Learn about heart rate training. There's so much you can learn about your heart, because your heart health and how your heart actually beats and how it's beating, how fast it's beating, how fast you recover is a great indicator of fitness level and how healthy you are. So it's definitely worthwhile learning about. Do set yourself goals. Because if you say you want to set yourself a 1,300 MEP goal, or 2,000 MEP goal, or 5,000 MEP goal, or 10,000 MEP goal, or whatever it is, set yourself goals and achieve them, and we're there to help you do it. Obviously, if you're watching this, you're not a member of Fast Way to Fitness, just get in touch with us and we'll tell you about how we can help you if you're not a member of our facility in Mocktra and Conway. And ask questions, I don't have all the answers about this stuff. One of the members at Fast Way to Fitness asked yesterday, why is my heart rate so much lower when I do stuff that's based on the floor versus when I'm standing? Because actually, I just had to go and find out that heart rate does actually change with your supine, facing down, or standing up. It's really interesting. There's so much things that we can learn collectively. So we haven't got all the answers at Fast Way to Fitness. But we endeavour to find out as much good information as we can. So asking good questions with your trainer, your coach, ask Myzone support. They're really, really helpful as well. And they will help you throughout your use of it. They're really, really helpful. They're really good. They're really good company. Don't swim in the belt. From experience, we've had a couple of people that have said they swam in the belt and it's not done the belt any good. It says it's water resistant, so sweat resistant. You can run in the rain in it, but swimming with it, I don't think you get the actual proper conductivity, but I don't think it does a belt any good either. So just check with Myzone on that one, but I just wouldn't advise it. Don't go under 1,300 MEPs a month. Keep your status up. That's what it's there for. It's to keep you accountable, keep you moving forwards. I've mentioned that before. Don't charge using a plug. Don't charge too frequently. Don't exercise without it. We've got members at Fast Way to Fitness who forget their belts frequently, and when they do, they feel rotten. They think they've missed out. Put it somewhere where you can easily access it. I leave mine in my car most of the time because I'm normally driving to the gym to train. So my belt I take my belt off when I get in the car, and after a workout, I put it on when I get back. So it's always in my passenger seat in my car. So put your belt somewhere where you can see it, or you can know you're going to be able to access it, so you don't forget it all the time. Don't get too concerned with MEPs during all of your workouts. Now, this is really important if you're going to do a strength training workout or a yoga-based workout or some variations of other workouts that I can't think of right now, where the goal isn't intensity all the time. We've got two sessions a week, 2 days a week, Tuesday, Thursday, which are called Get Strong. The MEPs that you'll get from Get Strong are never going to be as high as if you were to go for an hour-long run. But they elicit different changes on the body. Now, this is important to remember that fitness is so multifaceted. There's so many things that we do in fitness that have different effects. What we want to make sure is that MEPs don't become the be and all and end all of our training, because there's so many other things that we need to make sure we're taking care of. For sure, it's a good thing to start and focus on it's a good thing to focus on when you start training. However, there are things that we do need to consider, like lifting maximal weights, moving through a range of motion, taking time to rest and recover. These are things that MEPs will not be able to measure. And so it's so important that not getting too concerned. Like, we've seen people in strength training sessions before doing things like jumps and star jumps and running around the gym to keep their MEPs high whilst they're doing a workout. And sometimes the reason that you're doing a workout like a strength training workout is that you work maximally under load, and then you rest for even 2 to 3 minutes, and that rest should be doing nothing, standing there getting ready for the next set. It's important. And then don't feel like you have to connect with everyone. There's absolutely no reason that you have to connect with everyone in your gym. I would definitely recommend connecting with your trainer so that we can see it and see what you're doing. And then the final one is don't wear it with static inducing clothing. Some exercise kit can create static. It shoots the belt up and it makes it a little bit inaccurate. It's worth considering, because if you pull your top on it, you can hear a static noise. It's likely to affect the belt. Now, a lot of sports apparel does actually do that, so it's worth considering. And that's it, guys. That's it. Hopefully you've enjoyed this workshop, this tutorial, this demonstration, if you wish. If you have any questions, feel free to get in touch with us. If you've got any questions about Fast Way to Fitness and how we use it, feel free to get in touch with us and the trainers and the coaches. If you actually have any questions about Myzone itself, get in touch with Myzone. They're a fantastic company to do business with. They're really, really helpful. They get back to you pretty quickly. And the actual product itself, if you're a trainer and you're watching this video, highly recommend you get this into your gym. If you're an exerciser and you want a way to become more accountable and you want a way to measure your fitness, use it. Absolutely, it's fantastic. Can't say enough good stuff about it. Cheers for watching in, and take care.